Imagine you're on a first date. You've, navigated the polite intros, maybe shared a careful laugh or two, and then it happens. That silence, it just drops, heavy and awkward, hanging right there in the air. Your mind starts racing, scrambling for anything. What do I ask? How do I stop this from just crashing? We've all been there, right? Standing right on the edge of that conversational cliff. But what if I told you the real secret? The key to unlocking genuine connection on a first date isn't just what you say. What if it's really about the specific questions you ask? And maybe even more crucial, the subtle way you actually ask them. By the end of this deep dive, you'll really get why the right questions matter so much more than you probably think. You'll walk away with, like a real toolkit to turn pretty much any first encounter into something genuinely engaging, maybe even exhilarating. You're listening to Stereo Butterflies. We talk about love, lust, and loneliness like no one's listening. Just a quick note, this deep dive was crafted with the help of AI technology to ensure high-quality insights. Okay, let's really unpack this. It's such a common thing, isn't it? A lot of us, we approach first date questions kind of wrong. We either fire off this generic list like it's some kind of interrogation,
Right, rapid fire.
Exactly. Or we just clam up, totally afraid to ask anything meaningful. And what happens then? Awkward silences, yeah, but also just surface level chat. You don't really connect. And often, there's no second date. It's a classic trap, but one you can definitely learn to sidestep.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is the psychology behind it. When you shift away from just gathering facts.
Yeah.
Research and communication shows it's not about being super clever or, telling impressive stories. It's actually the authentic, curious questions, phrased really thoughtfully, that leave a much stronger, more resonant impression. The question itself and how you say it, that's the critical piece. It kind of signals you're emotionally available.
Because nobody wants a job interview on a date. Ugh. So how do we actively avoid that feeling, where one person feels totally grilled?
It really is all in the framing. So instead of that flat, what do you do for a living? Which feels kind of transactional, right?
Yeah.
Try something that invites a bit more of them. Like, I'm curious, what's a part of your day you actually look forward to? Or maybe what's something that genuinely sparks joy in your work? It subtly taps into positive feelings, personal values. You get a much richer answer than just a job title. You're inviting them to share a little piece of their inner world, not just, their CV.
And it's definitely not just about asking them questions, is it? It's got to be a two-way street. You have to share, too.
Oh, absolutely critical.
So when they answer, you chip in with maybe a related thought or a quick story or something it reminds you of. It's not about taking over, but about making it flow back and forth. That mutual exchange, that little dance of vulnerability, that's what builds the connection, right? It makes you both feel like invested. It goes from interview to actual conversation.
And people really underestimate how much just one good question can completely change the whole vibe of the date. Like, think about something light, playful. Maybe, okay, weird question, but what's the strangest food combo you secretly love? It can just instantly break the ice, generate laughter. And that's not just trivial humor, literally reduces tension. It can even, release a bit of oxytocin, that bonding hormone.
Well, shifting gears a little, something like, what's something you've been genuinely excited about lately that shows real, empathetic interest in their actual life right now?
Exactly. It's open, but not heavy or intrusive. It invites passion, not problems.
That mix, the humor and the genuine curiosity.
Yeah.
It seems like it builds rapport way faster than just, listing facts about yourself.
It really does. Much faster than people think. It shows you're, human, not just the data collector.
And this is where it gets really good, I think, the active listening part, the follow-up questions. It's not just about asking that first great question.
No, it's what you do with the answer.
Right. When you actually listen and then ask something based on what they just said, maybe a second or third question, you make them feel really seen, heard, valued. That's validation, isn't it? And that seems absolutely critical for building real chemistry. It proves you're actually present.
Which then brings up, that other thing, the thing that worries so many people before a date, those nagging fears.
Oh, yeah. Like the dread of the conversation just dying, that awful, awkward silence.
That's a huge one. Or worrying about oversharing too soon, right? Accidentally dropping some past trauma bomb on someone you just met.
Definitely. Or maybe killing the mood by bringing up, politics or money way too early.
Yeah, those big three.
But the good news, the really empowering part, is that you can actually plan for these. You can tackle these fears with the right approach to questions.
Totally.
Like, for the silences, maybe start with questions that are open-ended but still kind of neutral, gives them room to talk without pressure.
And if it gets too intense,
Sprinkle in some humor. A lighthearted question can totally reset the energy. And for those big, potentially polarizing topics, just
but
save them. Save them for later once you've actually built some trust, some comfort. It's all about pacing that intimacy, isn't it?
exactly, pacing is key. And connecting this back, there's this myth that preparing questions is somehow fake or forced.
Right, like it's not spontaneous.
But that's such a misunderstanding. Preparation isn't about memorizing a script. It's about having a mental toolkit.
Hmm.
You know, a few prompts ready in your back pocket for when the conversation naturally dips. The best daters, they're not just winging it. They adapt these ideas to the moment, making them feel totally organic. It actually frees you up to listen better.
Okay, so what about those so-called off-limits topics then? Can they ever work on a first date? Or are they always just conversation killers?
Well, it's nuanced. Not all serious topics are automatically bad. It really depends on how you ask and why you're asking. For instance, asking something like, what's a cause? Or maybe an idea you genuinely care about. That's actually a great way to gently explore values.
Oh.
Yeah, it touches on ethics, passions, but without demanding they take a hard stance or get defensive. It's less about the what, more about the how and the when. It's like asking to see their internal compass.
We've all seen those online lists, right? Top 10 first date questions. What's the danger in just like grabbing one of those and running with it?
Authenticity, that's the biggest risk. Using those generic cookie-cutter questions without any context, without making them your own, it just feels stale,
Yeah.
disingenuous.
Yeah, you can totally tell sometime.
Oh, definitely. It's a common complaint, feeling like you're getting questions straight off some blog post.
Yeah.
If you borrow an idea, you have to reframe it. Put it in your own words, make it sound like you. Because connection, it's built on genuine curiosity, genuine expression.
So the real art here is also about keeping it light and engaging when you need to, like those fun, maybe even slightly flirty icebreakers, thinking of them as invitations, not interrogation.
Exactly. Invitations to play.
Like asking, okay, if you could teleport anywhere for dinner tonight, zero limits, where are you going? Or maybe, what's the funniest, most ridiculous thing that happened to you this month? These kinds of questions, they spark creativity, playful energy.
Yeah.
It makes it easy for them to answer without overthinking.
And humor.
Yeah.
Such a powerful tool for connection when you use it right, because it taps into that shared human thing, right? But it's also so subjective. So sticking to light, maybe situational jokes or a bit of self-deprecating humor, that often works best. It builds comfort, lowers the guards. Probably best to avoid heavy sarcasm or edgy stuff, unless you really know their vibe. The goal is comfort, right? A positive feeling.
And even the dreaded small talk doesn't have to be boring. You can actually use it to reveal personality. So instead of just, how was your weekend? Which is fine, but
Flat.
yeah. Maybe try, what's something you wish you could do every weekend if, like, money and time were no object? Still casual, but boom, it opens a door to their passions, their dreams. You might hear stories you'd never get otherwise. It paints a picture of their ideal self.
Right. And when we want to go a bit deeper, ask those power questions. Well, the favorite things questions are classics for a good reason.
Yeah.
Think about it. Favorite books, meals, travel spots, how I'd like to spend a lazy Sunday. It reveals so much about taste, culture, lifestyle, all without feeling like you're prying. And the best part, these topics easily branch off into shared experiences or maybe even future plans. Builds a nice bridge.
Okay, I like that. And what about childhood stuff? Nostalgia prompts. That feels like it could be really warm.
It really can be. Asking about favorite childhood memories, or maybe what their dream job was when they were a kid. It often leads to these really lovely, story-filled answers. People tend to relax when they reminisce.
Mm.
And you might stumble upon some unexpected common ground, something that helps you connect instantly on a deeper level. It's like getting a little peek into their past, the core of who they were.
That makes sense. And then there are the dream and aspiration questions.
Oh, these are great because they spark excitement. Asking about bucket lists, dream travel, their ideal weekend. It lets you gently gauge compatibility, see how your visions for life might align. And crucially, it keeps the conversation feeling positive, forward-looking, full of energy.
But how do we actually get there? How do we steer things deeper without it feeling, I don't know, forced or just weird?
It's about gentle exploration, not like a direct interrogation. You can lightly touch on simple lifestyle things. Are they a morning person or a night owl? How do they really like to unwind? These small things reveal quite a bit about daily rhythms, values, important compatibility clues, but gathered easily, conversationally, not like a background check.
Okay, so what about the really big ones then? Love, relationships, the deal breakers.
Yeah, those definitely need care. Real sensitivity. Instead of just listing your non-negotiables, which can feel really confrontational.
Yeah, aggressive almost.
Right. Try asking something broader, like, what's genuinely important to you in a relationship? Or maybe, what qualities do you really value in the people closest to you? It keeps the tone positive, inviting. It lets them share their philosophy at their own pace without feeling pressured.
And hypothetical scenarios, those seem fun.
They are. And surprisingly revealing. Because they bypass our usual social filters. Asking things like, okay, $1 billion, no strings attached, first thing you do, or time travel, where and why. It pulls out creativity, values, personality, all in a low-pressure way. You get real insight without the weight of heavy self-disclosure.
Okay, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the landmines, the questions to absolutely positively steer clear of on a first date if you actually want a second one.
Ah, yes. Top of the list, the infamous "Why are you still single?" question.
Yes, it's just a notorious mood killer. It sounds judgmental, implies something's wrong with them, and instantly makes people defensive. Just don't go there. Instead, focus on the positive, the present. Ask about their current goals, passions, what they enjoy about their life now. Shift from perceived past failures to present aspirations.
Makes sense. And the classic trio, money, politics, religion, we know timing's key. Absolutely. For most first dates, experts strongly advise saving these. Wait until you've built a real foundation of trust and understanding. They're just too emotionally charged early on, too easy to lead to snap judgments. If you really feel you need to touch on values early, use those neutral entry points we talked about.
Like the cause you're passionate about one.
Exactly. Or what kind of community feels important to you. It allows for meaningful discussion without necessarily starting a debate.
And even something like, do you want kids, can feel super intense up front. How do you soften that?
You can use that story-driven approach.
Yeah.
Maybe ask something like, when you were younger, what did you imagine your adult life would look like? Or what kind of future did you dream of building? It gently opens the door to talking about family, career, lifestyle. They can share their desires through narrative, often revealing their thoughts on family without you having to ask directly. Much gentler.
So taking all this, how do we adapt it for, the real world? Online dates versus meeting in person.
The medium definitely changes things. Video dates, for instance, they often need a bit more energy, more deliberate prompts to kind of bridge that screen gap. Using visual cues can help. Show me something in your room that makes you happy, or what's the view like where you are?
Ah, good idea.
Whereas in-person dates, you can lean on the environment more easily. Comment on the place, the music, the food. It grounds the conversation in your shared physical space.
And matching questions to the setting itself seems important too.
Totally crucial. Casual coffee, perfect for those playful, get-to-know-you questions. A nice dinner, you can probably go a bit deeper, talk values, maybe life goals. An activity date like mini golf or a walk. That's brilliant because the activity itself generates conversation. You talk about what you're doing together. Shared context built right in.
You could almost think of the date like a little 3-act play.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, build that emotional arc. Start light and easy in Act 1, build comfort, move to more personal stuff in Act 2, allow for some vulnerability, then end Act 3 on an upswing, shared interests, future ideas, positive feelings. It gives the whole thing structure, momentum, and leaves a good final impression.
Okay, but nobody wants to sound like they're reading from a script, right? How do we make these strategies feel genuinely organic?
It comes down to using shared context and just being really present. Pay attention. What's happening around you? If there's live music, ask about a concert that blew them away. Walking past interesting architecture, ask about places they love. Using the moment makes it feel completely spontaneous.
And sharing a bit of yourself first can help too.
Oh, hugely powerful. Blending that self-disclosure with curiosity. Like, I just read this article that totally changed how I think about X. Has anything done that for you recently? Sharing first signals trust, invites them to match that openness. It's an unspoken invitation to connect. But honestly, the absolute key, where the real magic is, it's active listening. And following the thread, don't just jump to your next question. If they mention learning Italian, don't just nod. Ask why Italian, how's it going, dreaming of visiting, following up like that. That's what makes conversations feel rich, connected. It shows you actually heard them and you care.
Well, what if people have those nagging objections like, oh, I just hate small talk, or I worry I'll talk about myself too much, or the classic, I'm afraid I'll just sound boring?
Okay, for the small talk haters, reframe it. See it as the doorway to good stories. Instead of, how was your weekend? Ask, what was the highlight of your weekend? Or, anything unexpected happen? Tiny shifts, but they lead to much better answers. Bypasses the fluff.
And the fear of oversharing or talking too much.
That's valid. The goal is balance, right? An equal ask-share ratio. So just be mindful. For every little story you share about yourself, make sure you follow it up with a question directed back at them. That keeps it reciprocal. No monologues allowed. And if you're worried about sounding boring, lean into those imaginative, low-pressure questions we talked about. Fictional world you'd live in. Things like that. It's hard to sound boring when you're inviting playfulness and creativity into the conversation.
So does this change much when dating across different ages or different cultures?
Age definitely shifts things.
Yeah.
In your 20s, maybe it's more about playful discovery, shared adventures. In your 40s or 50s plus, questions often get more intentional, right? Focusing more on shared values, lifestyle alignment, long-term goals. It reflects different life stages. The key is tuning into their stage, their maturity, what they seem to be looking for.
And culture adds another layer for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Cultural backgrounds really shape what feels natural, what topics are okay early on, even how direct you should be. Humor varies wildly, too.
So how do you navigate that?
Stick to genuine curiosity. An empathetic approach is best.
Maybe ask something like, what's something from your culture or maybe your upbringing that you wish more people understood? It shows respect, invites sharing in a positive way, lets them teach you something, celebrates difference instead of making it awkward.
Okay, let's try and boil this down. Let's give people that toolkit we mentioned. Maybe 10 safe, engaging questions to get things rolling. How about, what's the most fun thing you've done this year? Something that really made you laugh. If you could live anywhere for a year, where would you go? What's your ultimate comfort food, that go-to dish? What's a hobby you've always wanted to try? What's the last book or movie that really stuck with you, made you think? Is there a place you've always dreamed of visiting? What's maybe the best meal you've ever had? What made it so good? If you had a totally free day, no responsibilities, how would you spend it? Was a skill you're proud of, maybe something you learned recently? And what's something small that made you happy lately? Those are great starting points. And to make it more interactive, maybe try some light game formats like Two Truths and a Lie. Always reveals fun facts.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Or Desert Island Picks, what 3 things would they take? This or that. For quick preferences. Top 3 favorites, films, songs, whatever. Or even a future snapshot, like describe your ideal morning 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Just add a bit of playfulness, get quick insights.
And we need rescue lines. For when things stall, what can you say?
Simple things work best. Oh, that reminds me of, to link back to something earlier, speaking of that topic, to transition smoothly. Or even just a gentle, by the way, to introduce something new and lighter if needed. Steers the conversation without being jarring.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway? Mastering first date questions isn't about having a perfect list memorized. It's much more about finding that sweet spot, right? Between curiosity, playfulness, and just a genuine desire to connect.
Exactly. The best questions often feel spontaneous, even if you had the idea beforehand. They land well because they come from a place of real openness.
Yeah.
And honestly, connecting this all back, that thoughtful follow-up question, the one based directly on what they just said, that will always feel more personal, more connecting than just checking off the next question on your mental list. Active listening. That's the ultimate signal you're truly interested. It builds trust way faster than any clever line. It makes them feel genuinely seen.
So maybe the shift is this. As you go into your next first date, remember you're not just asking questions to fill silence. You're not just trying to avoid awkwardness. You're asking because you want to open a door to possibility. The real connection, maybe it's not even in the answers themselves. Maybe it's in that shared desire to truly understand the person sitting across from you. How might thinking about it that way? How might that change things for you? If this deep dive gave you value, share it with someone you care about, hit subscribe, and leave a review.